Hi everyone. So I'm gonna talk with my brother about how to use Vue.js like jQuery, not like Next. Sorry. So let's start with some philosophy about jQuery. jQuery was in 2006, so it's been 12 years ago now. So it was based on events-driven. And Vue.js in 2014, so 8 years after, was changed his philosophy to extract data and be more data-driven. So it means that what belongs to the DOM in jQuery, like your data, was transferred and extracted by Vue. So let's get more further in details. With jQuery, for example, you get your data into the DOM. When you click and toggle an event, you fire an event on jQuery, jQuery will read and copy your data from the DOM, make an AJAX request, for example, and then replace your data into the DOM with the new data. With Vue.js, we escape this issue because during these 8 years of experience with jQuery, when you try to build a large-scale application, you have to manage a lot of data binding and changing. And sometimes, if you want to change a class name, you lost the connection with jQuery. So with Vue, with this data abstraction, with the DOM is the reflection of your data. When you fire an event, you still make your AJAX request, and you get your data into the Vue state. And as the DOM is a reflection with the binding, it's updated. jQuery and Vue.js try to push optimization with the time. So since 8 years ago, between the two versions, you can see there is some optimization to allow to keep the same functionality and more options, but with a better size. So let's do a quick comparison between jQuery and Vue.js. So the installation is quite the same, in fact. Let's go with the click event with jQuery. So you have to define an ID, point on this ID, and call the method click from jQuery. With Vue, as we abstract the data from the DOM, we just had a click event. So the function you get with jQuery inside your library, you have on the HTML. So you can manage your data into the script and add your events file into the HTML. The change event was the same as the binding of data, like I explained before. Sorry. With the jQuery, we have to manage all the data changing into your script. And like I said, you have the add change and the model attribute into your HTML with Vue. So it's pretty the same. In fact, if you want to change your jQuery code base into Vue, it's very easy to transfer your code because it's almost the same name. You can see the function name is changed on jQuery, and we use the same keyword in your attributes HTML in Vue. That's a lot of examples for that. We get class binding. Class binding is almost the same when we want to change a class with jQuery, or if you want to bind a class with Vue. We just add an attribute vbind or double dots before the class. We prefix it, and we can toggle classes and enable or disable some classes. The value binding is almost the same. So we have to trigger some events from the DOM, and it can be painful start to be painful with jQuery, with a lot of data to bind and to update, depending on your data. Vue.js try to simplify that with the abstraction by adding the vModel attributes in your HTML, who do an auto-binding like you do with the key up and update your DOM. The element visibility was also something transferred into your HTML with the vissue attributes. The list rendering was something we start to go more further into the JS issue we got with jQuery when you want to manage data and render and changing your DOM depending on your data. It starts to be painful with jQuery, and Vue simplifies that with another key attribute called v4. And then for the AJAX request for the application, it was the same. When you want to render a list, you have to manage all the data into the JS. And with the Vue abstraction data, we have mounted an other method from Vue.js who allows you to you get hooked into the lifecycle on your application. So you are not stuck with the DOM state. You manage with the virtual DOM, and you get more flexibility. But I will let my brother go more in detail with the live code. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I guess most of you knows about to-do MVC. Shit. Okay, that's good. This is not good. Okay, so this is to-do MVC with jQuery. I might zoom a little bit. I think this is okay. So I can add a to-do, I can check it, and I can remove it. So it's simple. There is a routing here. So I can check the active to-dos or the completed to-dos, and it's stored in the local storage. So this is my index.html file. Is it good? OK. So I will start to rename jQuery to Vue. And yeah, it doesn't work anymore. So let's make it work. So I have copy and paste the app, which was jQuery, to gapps, so I can move some part to Vue. So I will remove and say new Vue. So let's see where I can attach my Vue app. So this is to-do app. So I will say to-do app. I will add some data. And let's say to-dos. And an empty array computed, because this is an awesome feature of Vue, and we will use some of them. And that's it. So we have no error, but we cannot do anything. So let's work on adding a to-do. So first, to debug, I will add to-dos here, so I can see my list of to-dos. And I will start from jQuery code. So handlebars, I don't need, because Vue has a templating system. Enter key, escape key has some utils. So I will copy and paste utils to my methods directly. Let's indent. OK, so I have my utils now inside methods, so I can use them directly inside my Vue app. And I can remove it from here. So I have app init. I can see that I'm creating the to-dos, the list of to-dos from the local storage, and there is this util which reads in the local storage. So I can directly do this. And if I refresh, I have my to-dos. No, come on, not yet. So I will also add a new to-do property, and I can bind it to this input with the vModel. OK, let's continue from jQuery. This we don't need. It's templating. Vue has templating. OK, in the init method, we have the router, and it's using director for the router. So we can use the created hook from Vue, which is called directly when the Vue instance is created. And let's add also the filter, which is by default all. We can use arrow functions, so we don't have to bind. And we don't need to call render. And on the jQuery app, they created a render method, but with Vue, you don't have to use render. So that's it for the created. We'll see if it works after, I'm not sure. OK, new to do, there is a key up event, and it's called create. So let's look at the create method. We copy and paste. So with the trackpad, it's not so easy. OK, we will call it add to do. And then what's happening is taking the value from the input. But thanks to Vue, we binded the new to do key to the input. So I can say val equals this.new to do. And we will trim it to avoid adding an empty to do. And then if there is no value, we do nothing. And then we push it to the array. So instead of util, we have it in this, and we will add the to-do. OK, now we have to catch the input event, key up, enter, add to-do. So let's see if it works. So test. OK, we have it here. So we can add to-do, but we cannot display them now. So let's work on the main. So create, I can remove it. And let's see here. Where is the main? It's toggling when there is to-do length, if there is some to-dos. So I can say vshow to-dos.length. But there is nothing. So let's see why. Main, and main is display none. So there is some CSS here that I can remove. Let's see why footer also is empty. Footer. OK, so it's the same one. So we can copy and paste on footer. And remove this. OK, we have some empty to do, because we don't have any template here. Because jQuery use handlebar and has some templating system you can do. So let's copy this. Just remove it. We put it here. We can remove this now. So this, we can change it with the binding of the class and say if the to-do completed will be if the to-do is completed. So the class completed will be added only if the to-do is completed. This, we don't need to use it right now. And we have to list through of our to-do. Then I can display to-do.title. I can do the same here. So it's exactly the same if I do this or this. It's just a shortcut. And let's say I do the same here. And here, I won't do the edit because I don't think I will have time, but we have our list of to-dos right now. But if I check it, it doesn't work. I have to, well, let's see first what's happening. So new to-do, we've done it. Let's check the toggle. Toggle. OK. Let's see if we can directly use vModel. OK. It works. So we can now check to-dos. And we need to destroy them as well. So let's remove this. Let's see if there is a destroy. OK. So the destroy, I think we can use directly the ID because we have to do here. So if we click on the destroy, we can say remove to do, and we give the to-do.id. And then we can add the method, which is remove to-dos. So I get the ID, and I can say this.todos equal this todos.filter. I got the ID. OK. If I remove this one, yeah, No one told me that. Come on, guys. I need some help. So if I remove here, it works. But if I refresh, I still have it from the local storage. So I need a way to, I don't want to call the method to save the to-do in the local storage every time I have a method. So Vue has a method, has a property for this, which is called watch. So I can watch to-dos. But because it's an array of objects, I can go deep to say if there is a property inside an object inside the arrays, you call this handler. Let's call it save to-dos. And let's add the save to-dos method. And we can call our helper, which is this.store. And which key do we have? To-dos jQuery. And we give these.todos. So OK, let's try again. I remove it, I refresh, and it's been removed inside the local storage. So we start to have something working. OK, I say I won't do the update, because I won't have enough time. Should have bring my mouse. It would have been easier. OK, this is special for jQuery. We don't need this. OK, so there is some filters. So why not using the computed property for this? So you can filter our to-dos to see which one are active, completed. So it's, let's rename it to active to-dos. So this is OK. Completed to-dos. And filtered to-dos. And we directly call this. It's not a function. It's the Vue will use it to create a property which is binded to this function. So when to-dos will change, this property will change as well. But we don't have to call it like a method. And we can use it directly instead of to-dos here. OK. OK, we didn't break anything. I hope. So now we need to display the footer so we can switch between the pages. So it's over here, footer template. So let's take it and move it to the Vue template. So it's over here. OK. There is some things to do. Active to do count. Let's see if we have a computed property. Yes. So we can do directly dot length. Active to do word. OK, let's look at this. So this is using util pluralize and the same value. So let's use it like this. I can remove util. I can access methods directly inside the template. And I can copy this, move it here. OK, this we have to bind. It's the same as before. Selected will be when filter equals all. OK, this one, let's see if we can copy past and use completed here, completed. Same for active. And then we can use the directive of if. Because here we're using directly this, but we can attach it to the button. And completed to-dos, we have also a computed. So let's say if there is any completed to-do, we can display the button to clear the computed to-dos. I think it makes sense. OK. We have something working. I can check it. I can go to active, completed. But I cannot clear them. This is pretty annoying. So let's see if jQuery binded this ID. So we say if you click on clear complete, destroy completed. So let's copy and paste in a method. OK, let's call it destroy completed. It's fine. Get active to-dos. OK, it's our active to-dos here. So let's erase to-dos. So when this will be updated, it will be called, it will trigger this, and save to the local storage. So we don't have to call it every time. And we move the filter to all, so we can go back to the all to-dos. And I need to add the click event and call this row complete. OK, why is it? OK, so I can see my completed to-do, and I can clear them, and you go back to all. So how much time do I have? 1 hour? Perfect. So let's do everything now. I think I have like 10 minutes left, or 5. Yeah, I want to show a special feature of the computed property. This one is a bit complex, but let's see for jQuery. We can check all the to-dos in the same time by clicking on this button. So let's try to do the same with Vue, because I read the call of jQuery, and it's pretty hard to understand. So we have a toggle button, which is a checkbox. So let's have a V model, and let's call it toggle all. And let's see, we display here to debug what's happening. And we have to set, we will create a special computed, which is an object. So when you create a computed, which is an object, you have to create a getter and a setter. So here the tricky part. This has to be true when there is no remaining to-dos. So let's return this active to-dos.length. So let's see. So there is no remaining. I will use this. And here it's false. OK, so on the set, I will have the value of true or false, depending of when you click on the checkbox. So I can update my to-dos, this.todos.forEach. So I get a to-do. And I can say to-do.completed equal value. I hope this will work. No, what? Oh, thank you. I'm happy to have you guys here. OK, yes, it works. So I can remove this to-do. Perfect. So we did it. So back to the slides. It's the end. So I would like to thank Roman, Kuba, and Eduardo. Eduardo has the ID for the to-do MVC. Terrible ID. And Roman had helped Alex for the slides and really understand what could we say about the philosophy of Vue and jQuery. And thank you, everyone, for listening to us. We are the Chopin brothers. And thank you.